That's when he's scribbling the bucket list. Like 4 things he puts on there.
Yeah.
He didn't put much on there.
It's like laugh till you cry.
Witness something majestic. Help someone
for good.
A stranger for good, and then
some boring
drive
shit.
a Mustang. To be fair, for his character, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But it's pretty boring shit.
Yeah, he's had to work on a lot of cars, but he's never driven a good Mustang before.
Exactly.
That's sad.
He hasn't felt true power.
Never felt the thrill as you grip the wheel, the raw traction to the road.
The horses kicking back.
He's never felt the unrivaled euphoria of a Honda Civic. Yeah, and just
grab, like,
off the wiener and into the pan, you know? Well, with that, should we just start?
No.
That's
done.
Good a transition as any.
I'm not a part of this anymore.
Oh, okay. Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the No Thumbs Up podcast, where down is up and thumbs are down. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at The Bucket List, a film about 2 old dudes dying in style.
Old people.
Well, first,
Old people burning. Put your hands up.
Yeah.
let me introduce some beautiful
I feel
people.
like I'm missing a reference.
You
John
don't.
LaJoie.
Yeah.
He
I don't
sings
remember that.
such classics as "Guns Don't Kill People."
I kill people
Equals MC
with
vagina.
guns. The old show me your genitals. I gotcha.
This voice you're hearing right now is Dying Dayne.
I'm dying.
Beside him is just about to kick the bucket, Josh.
Oh, that's a fucking stretch.
Non-attending Noah. Woo.
Ooh, he's not attending.
Maybe he won't make it, Marcel. And of course, as always, clocking in at 6'1" and over 5 pounds, Spaghetti Joe.
5?
My
He's
name.
over 5.
At least. Oh.
Doing fun.
I mean, imagine
Big
eating
boy.
5 pounds of spaghetti. Like, it's a lot.
That's
Imagine
a lot.
eating 5 pounds of Joe.
It's a lot in spaghetti weight.
I'd eat 5 pounds of Joe. That's just Joe's penis. It's just 5 pounds.
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't want to do that.
Cracks table.
If Joseph gets morning wood, he pushes Alex off the bed.
No.
My name is Joel, and I'll be your plotsman for today. So please sit down, get comfortable, and hit that bucket kicking like button, or no one will carry your ashes to the top of a mountain. I would not.
That's
That was probably the worst one.
If you like what we're doing here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get more podcasts just like this one, and hit that bell button so you don't miss a freaking episode. This was my movie. I had seen it a long time ago.
What were you thinking?
It was a cold Tuesday.
Kind of an old person movie.
oh shit, eh?
I mean, like, it's fine. It's fine.
It's a movie.
It's not like it's a bad movie.
No.
You know, we watched it.
They did things.
You know?
I mean,
I think it wasn't for us though. You know, like
no, not yet.
Like-
Not yet.
Yeah.
Anyways, a little bit about the movie to preface. It's from 2007, directed by Rob Reiner. It had a budget of $45 million and a box office of $175 million. So, like, yeah, pretty good.
Is
I
this
remember-
our first repeat director now?
What did Rob Reiner do?
The Princess Bride.
Oh,
We
He
had
did
that.
Princess Bride and this one.
Didn't Chris Columbus also do 2 movies that we reviewed?
Chris Columbus.
I feel like we had him twice.
Else.
Christopher Columbus.
We had Home Alone, and what else did we have that he do?
We had
He
one other. We had one in like the beginning.
Pixels,
didn't we?
Pixels.
Yes.
That's the one. What a fucking odd range of movies to do. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is a weird show, but only two people in the cast to really mention are Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. I'm probably just gonna refer to them as Jack and Morgan. This
I
whole
actually
time.
don't even
Easiest.
remember what their names are.
Edward and Carter, I think.
Yeah, what he calls him Ray sometimes too. So
Yeah.
you gotta watch out for that.
Yeah.
See, I don't. Is it because his middle name is Ray, or is he calling him like Ray Charles because the sunglasses? That's what I thought, but I don't fucking know.
He started calling him Ray in Egypt, so I don't really remember the reasoning behind that.
Okay.
But yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll-
Someone can probably let us know.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Trent, it's up to you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yo, I
You do,
saw
watch
you do the research. You know this show.
I
Zero
saw
research
Trent 2 nights
involved.
ago. He works at the weed store now.
Oh, does he?
Mhm.
In Wetaskiwin? Oh,
He vouched
He
for me
can't-
when the guy didn't believe my ID of my age.
Can't say which
Trent
one.
was the homie.
gee, let's go.
I literally graduated with him. He's of age.
Yeah. It's fucking. It's a rough life out here sometimes.
He didn't believe your age after he saw your ID.
Yeah, dude, no, that happens all the time. Like, it doesn't matter if I go to like a liquor store or a pawn shop. People just don't believe me.
When I was in
Yeah,
Banff,
it's rough.
the lady, I didn't have my ID with me, and she was like, just pull down your mask and let me see your beard, and I did, and she was just like, okay.
I believe you.
I was like, dude, some people be growing a beard at like 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids
I
nowadays.
used to walk into the Max in high school being like 17, and I'd like walk in and be like, oh, there's so many fucking high school kids at lunchtime. Anyway, I'll get a pack of Canadian Classics, and since they just sell it to me. So like every day I'd bitch about my fellow students and then like ask for a pack of smokes, and it always
Like,
worked.
hey, aren't you in here at the exact same time that school gets out for lunch every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I got a beard. What? I'm doing some man shit.
Speaking of age, let's jump right into this movie.
It's a coming of age tale.
Yeah, definitely.
A coming of death tale.
A going of age tale.
Yeah.
We start with like this just a beautiful mountain range, and we hear Morgan Freeman's voice, and honestly I can't even remember what he's saying here. I'm pretty sure it's just about the day that Jack
Nicholson
dies. Yeah.
He's just like, oh yeah, you know, the day I remember the day he died very
Whoa,
well.
spoilers. He dies in the end?
Yeah, they just get right into it. They're like, they don't give a shit. They're like, yeah, this movie's about death. Deal with it, and they just go right in.
Yeah, I'll be straight up. I didn't hear any of this beginning monologue.
Yeah. It didn't stick. See what Joe's doing? That's all that's in my brain.
Yeah.
We see Morgan
That's
Freeman.
more memorable than this opening sequence.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys.
Well, we also see this guy in the orange jumpsuit walking across the mountains too, don't we?
Yeah, orange jumpsuit. Just escaped from a jail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
jumpsuit? What the?
Well, I don't know.
Snowsuit?
Snowsuit, I guess. Yeah.
Dude.
So, anyways, Morgan Freeman is working in this garage with this guy, and this guy is like quizzing him, saying, all these, what are the 4 presidents that start with the letter like H or something?
You know
Yeah.
facts? I know facts. I'll teach you some facts.
Yeah, and then they like really drive it home with the whole like, oh, that's a
Here's
hard
the
one.
Carfax.
And then he's like, I don't know if you want like what they think is the right answer or what's actually the right answer.
Yeah, it's like, who invented the telephone? And they're like, they'll let you to believe it's this guy, but it was Nikola Tesla. And the guy's just like, oh, all right.
And there's your Carfax for the day as he slides out from under the car.
And then Morgan Freeman just drops it on him. His phone rings, and he's getting like, sounds like he's getting news from like a doctor or something. And he's like, oh my god, and then it changes scenes. We see Jack Nicholson is like preparing this like really fancy like coffee in court, and he's just like, I can like taste it to like his lawyer, and he's just like, we are in court right now, sir. He eventually just tries it, and then he lets him go up and talk. He mentions that coffee is like the most expensive drink in the world, or something. So it's like very expensive. I don't know, but basically they're I think the thing that they're fighting for is that they need to have two
hospital.
people to a room is their whole thing, right?
Yeah, he was saying he runs a hospital, not like a health spa. Two beds to a room, no exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're literally just arguing over can somebody have one bed in a room.
He starts coughing, coughs up some blood, and oh no, he has to get rushed to the hospital. And eventually, we see that Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson both end up in the same room. And whenever the people see Morgan Freeman, they're just like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And yeah,
Morgan Freeman.
and Jack is not happy to share his room, even though that's what he's been fighting for like the whole time, is that people can't share rooms. But then he thinks that he should be better than that.
He's like, I've never been sick before.
Yeah,
And then that was supposed to just like really hit you and make you feel like, oh, I get him now.
No, I think that was the opposite. You're supposed to feel for the opposite because
Well, you feel for Morgan Freeman because Jack Nicholson's just being a total dick to him through that whole sequence. He's like, no offense, but fuck this guy.
yeah,
But like,
he's just there.
no offense, but get the fuck out of my room.
yeah, he's like, oh,
Who the fuck brought this guy in here?
I've never been sick before. I've never known how bad it is. And now I want my special treatment.
Wah,
And he doesn't get it.
bitch.
Over time, we see that like there's like a bunch of people coming in and out to see Morgan Freeman, but there's like nobody there to see Jack. And one of the times his wife shows up and he's just kind of laying back in his chair watching Jeopardy, and she's like, and you doing good? And he's like, do you need anything? Nah. And then just kind of like really like every time somebody shows up, Morgan Freeman just doesn't really want to talk to them because like, I don't know, they're all just really worried about him, and he's like, I don't know, it kind of seems like he's just finally got some time to chill, and like,
Alone.
and like everybody's just treating him kind of like he's broken, so he's just like doesn't want to talk to him.
Sorry to kind of like interrupt with an off-topic thing, but imagine if this movie was made now. They made this 14 years ago about them like aging and getting sick and kicking the butt. It's like 15 years later now. These
Yeah.
guys are in their 80s now.
Yeah,
That's why.
They're actually ready to kick the bucket.
Yeah.
Imagine that skydiving scene as real as it looked now.
That's what it looks.
Like dipped and how beautiful the green screen looked.
it definitely looks.
Everywhere in the
45 million.
world, beautiful.
Oh my god!
It's like when they were skydiving, it looked like they were like deep faked.
They literally just fucking like hiring Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. That's it. Like the rest of the
They
movie,
literally,
been, like,
they literally developed. They developed deepfake technology just for this movie, and now it's started to evolve.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson ends up having to get his head shaved for this surgery, and then he goes and has to get chemo, and he's like really sick. At one point, his assistant, I can't remember his name, brings him this big plate of food, and Morgan Freeman's like, "Oh, you're gonna eat all of that?" And he's just like, he's like, "Oh yeah, of course." And then he kind of thinks that Morgan Freeman's like, "Oh, he wants some," so he's like, "You want him to fix you a plate?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." And then later on, or he's like, "It's the best food in LA," and just chewing all happy. And then it just cuts to him throwing up in the toilet, and he's like, "Not the best food in LA anymore." His son comes in, Morgan Freeman's son comes in to talk to him, and really doesn't want to talk to him either. And just keeps giving him the mom says you're not getting enough sleep. And then eventually just leaves.
I love you, son.
They're starting to get more acquainted with each other. Morgan Freeman's kind of showing him his family, like on this picture, and Jack is saying, "Oh, I never really stayed anywhere long enough to like have a family." So he's kind of just lying at this point because he's been married 3 times and has a kid. But I mean, I guess he didn't get to stick around long enough in a lot of those. So, he says the only successful marriage he had was with his business, which he started at 16. Morgan Freeman wanted to be like a professor, and he went to school or started going to school, but then his wife got pregnant, and then they were young and black and broke. So he just found the first job that he could find, which was a mechanic, and he was there for like 45 years. Then we get this montage of them in the hospital, and they're having some not so great nights. They're rushing to the washroom, they're having cold sweats, and then they're both just kind of watching each other look like woozy and pale and sick. And they're having this conversation as they're walking down the hall about the 5 stages of grief. And he's like, "Oh, you ever thought about suicide?" And then he's like, "No." And then he's like, so you're in the first stage, denial. It's like, well, you can't just go up to somebody and be like, "Hey, are you suicidal?" It's like, no. It's like, not yet.
You're just
You'll get there.
Kind of like how Morgan Freeman's just like, "What stage are you in?" He's like, "Denial." He's like, "Yeah, denial and suicidal."
Yeah. They're both laying in bed, and is the scene that Josh has as his background. He's watching baseball. A funny fact I have about this is allegedly he brought those in himself. Yeah. And then the director's just like, "We'll just put it in." Yeah, so his doctor comes in. All right, well, is that where this happens? Watching baseball, funny glasses.
Yeah, the doctor comes in and he's just like,
yeah.
"Oh, you got like 6 months," and he's like,
Well, right before this, there's kind of just a smaller part where Jack is just trying to talk to Morgan. He just like isn't paying attention and just puts on his headphones and like.
That's when he's scribbling the bucket list.
Yeah.
Like 4 things he puts on there.
Yeah.
Didn't put much on there.
It's like laugh till you cry.
Witness something majestic. Help someone
for good.
a stranger for good, and then
some boring
drive
shit.
a Mustang. To be fair, for his character, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But it's pretty boring shit.
Yeah, he's had to work on a lot of cars, but he's never driven a good Mustang before.
Exactly.
That's sad.
He hasn't felt true power.
Never felt the thrill as you grip the wheel, the raw traction to the road.
The horses kicking back.
He's never felt the unrivaled euphoria of a Honda Civic.
Absolutely.
My bucket list is to drive a Civic.
Joe, are you gonna help a homie out with this wish?
She, man.
It's like drive a Civic like Type R, this drive a Civic Sport, blah blah blah, drive a Civic hatchback.
Yeah, just all these Civics.
I want to make my way through the Civic line.
Yeah.
That's my bucket list. Literally just 1 through 10. It's like Civic R, Civic SI, Civic Hatch.
So the doctor's delivering Jack his bad news, and he's just like, "Hey doc, you're in my freaking way. Step out of the way." And he basically learns that, hey, you don't have long to live, and so he like kind of just pushes the doctor off to the side. Doctor just kind of leaves, but before he leaves, he's like, "Hey, like Morgan needs to get his like shit expedited." So he's just like, "I just want to know where I'm at." And he tells the doctor, and doctor leaves. "I'll look at your file." Jack looks all pissed and just turns over. I mean, rightfully so. But
going to bed angry. Tisk tisk.
For American healthcare, that's pretty fucking garbage. Because they're probably paying just stupid amounts to live in that hospital.
Yeah, true.
And like, he doesn't even know where he's at. And then the doctor just goes, looks at a chart, comes back, tells him.
yeah.
Like fuck whoever Morgan Freeman's doctor was.
Yeah, for real, like what?
Morgan Freeman does end up learning how long he has to live, and he's like, "I thought it would feel liberating knowing how long you have to live." It wasn't. They share this long gaze, and then they're like, want to play cards. At this one point, Jack is talking to his assistant, and they're like, he's like, oh, how should I handle your death? And he's like, I just do whatever you would do. And he's like, oh, leave everything to my assistant.
He's like, I fucking hate you, man. He's like, I hate you too. 90% of their just interactions with each other, just fuck you, you suck.
I mean, he literally calls him by the wrong name on purpose, all the time. He's like, Thomas. It's Matthew, actually. Why does he call you Thomas? Matthew's too biblical.
I think Thomas is his real name.
No, Matthew was his real name, and he says he calls him Thomas because Matthew's too biblical for him.
Oh, right. He also calls his lawyer the wrong name, and then he at the beginning, I don't remember what the thing is, but he's like, Ed, and then he's like, my name is Charles, and he's like, anyways, Brandon.
What was that from where it's like, oh, I like to call people by the wrong name to keep them on their toes, to make them feel like they don't get attached?
Oh, that's Parks and Rec.
Okay, yeah, that was Ron Swanson, yeah.
He's saying, he's like, I especially don't learn people's names. You should know that better than anybody, like Lucy to like Leslie. Anyways,
also good show, Parks and Rec. Go check it out.
Yeah. He starts reading out his bucket list, and he's just like, damn, this is a shitty bucket list. He starts like adding to it. He's like, kiss the most beautiful girl in the world. And he's like, how are you gonna do that? And he's like, volume. Yeah, it's skydiving. Jack is like, hey, well, we're just gonna do this now. And Morgan's just like, well, it's kind of just supposed to be metaphorical. He's like, no, you're being stupid. We're gonna do this.
I got money. We doing this.
Yeah, he's like, you think 45 years goes by fast? Try 6 months. Like, we better just go do this. He's like trying to justify staying. He's like, what do you think happens at this point? Basically, everyone just sits around us, like waiting for us to die as we get smothered by pity and grief. And he's like, I don't want that, and I know in my heart you don't want that either. And then he's just like, skydiving, huh? And then Jack Nicholson kind of giggles, and he's like, I got him on the hook.
They're in a plane.
They're literally in a plane right after that.
No, his wife comes in. His wife comes in.
Oh yeah, they have the whole.
But
there's a really like, because his wife's like, you know, like because she was a nurse.
His wife's dummy thick.
Or you die. She is like really
Okay.
hot. Like, she's like really hot. Morgan Freeman could pull, man. Like,
Doesn't wear a bra. Dummy thick.
But yeah, that's the Morgan Freeman's like he's like, don't you want to like be there for them? And he's like, be there for them. I've given them 45 years, so they never had to want for anything, and they didn't. I want to do some shit for myself. He's just like, yo, I want to go out with the boys.
Yeah.
I've done enough for this family. I deserve me time.
yeah,
Absolutely right though. Like if I dedicated being a young father, if I had to go through that, finding the first job and just not like having time to myself for my entire life, and then my thick ass fucking dumb bitch of a wife comes up and tells me
I mean, she seems pretty reasonable.
Supportive and,
Sharing the
caring.
last bit of her life with him because she knows that he's not going to be around, so she wants to.
The love of her
give-
life is dying, and all she wants is
Give
to
him
spend some
enough
time
time.
with him.
give him some time. Give him some time.
Yeah.
It's like,
They spent 66 years together. Guy deserves
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. He needs something to himself.
yeah.
Even if it's for the last couple months, I'd be happy giving that to my significant other. Just like go out and live.
Go
your
get
Yeah.
the dick, babe. You need it.
Yeah, like literally, like she just, when he gives her the news, she's just like, oh man, fuck this hospital. I'm gonna call this other hospital.
Yeah, UCLA.
Yeah, he just like grabs the phone, just like chucks it down. He's like, nah. Like,
Mitch, I worked in a garage for 45 years. Where do you think we get UCLA money from?
Yeah, for real. What?
yeah.
This is
Is
America.
that you can barely get your doctor to talk to you in this hospital.
Yeah, right. You're literally like bottom of the priority in the hospital you're in, but you're gonna go up to this rich person hospital.
Needless to say, she ain't so happy, and Jack Nicholson's
they're on
like,
a plane.
she hates me. Do you hate me? And he's like, not yet. And then they're in a plane, yeah. And then he starts freaking out, and he drops his little keychain of a car and has to go pick it up. And Jack's joking, nah, he's just worried about his wife.
Okay, okay, I wanna be real. Why does Jack Nicholson talk the way? Like, I know he's probably trying to like pretend he's talking over the sound of a plane, but he just kind of sounds.
He's an old man. He's got the old man.
Like, why does he talk like that?
Well, it's like
You can't tell me if you were in your 70s, you wouldn't goddamn well talk like that.
I already talk like that.
Well,
and
He doesn't
I'm
talk
20.
like
I
that.
plan on being a crotchety old man when I get old. I am gonna be the loudest annoying bastard possible.
Oh fuck.
I mean, you think about
The
probably
one time in your life it's okay to be an asshole. He's old.
Daddy's trying some shit.
Yeah.
the way they recorded it was probably that like all the wind sound was added in post, so they were just like, just act like you're yelling over something. But
Because when Marcel does that, it sounds like he's like in a 50s fucking recording movie.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
of just
yeah,
like
see?
how gainy his mic gets. Just,
You're gonna announce our goddamn sports event for us.
Yeah, we gotta go around the base. You know, right on the heart. You gotta go to fly and fit it all.
okay. Please stop yelling. It's too much.
Hey, at least it wasn't on the other version of the mic.
True.
Oh god, it would just go like quiet.
Yeah, these would just.
Jack starts talking about he's just worried because his wife is all angry about him. He's like, oh, blah blah blah, my second wife, the sequel, she was so bad. And the guy's like, maybe that's because you called her the sequel. He's like, that never occurred to me. Eventually they both just get pushed out of this plane. Morgan
And like
Freeman-
when Morgan Freeman gets like kicked out, he's just like,
he's just like, I hate your guts, and then
okay, so that line right there. Okay, so the only thing I remember from this movie is my mom loved it. Because she's worked in like old age homes her whole life, right? So like this was like, I guess, her movie when it came out. But it's just that line she would quote, and she would just be like, "That movie's so funny." Like at one point, Morgan Freeman goes, "I hate your rotten guts," and like that's it. That's all she'd say. It was just that one line, and when I saw it, I was like, "All right, like that's okay." It's a little silly, I guess.
And then I like Jack Nicholson's line in response better. He just says, "Surrender to the void." They presumably hit the ground at 300 kilometers an hour, and
I love how like
And that was the bucket list.
pulls his chute super early, and then like the guy's just like, "Yo, we gotta pull the chute. We're in the red zone," and Jack Nicholson's just like going off about like life and shit. So that guy behind him's just like, "I got a suicidal old man in my hands. I gotta fight. I gotta."
yeah. They go to this tattoo shop, and Jack Nicholson is getting a tattoo of like what looks like the Joker on his left arm. I don't know what it is, but
It's Jack Nicholson. It's just him.
oh right, oh
But he
yeah,
did play the Joker, so like you're not too far off.
yeah.
Joker, baby.
This is the Joker in his retirement years, He actually got his money through like robbing Gotham and shit, and now he's
Took over Batman.
Morgan Freeman won't get a tattoo because he's like, well, I can't think of anything I'd want to be stuck with my whole life. And he's like, your whole life, you're gonna die.
I like how the fucking like tattoo artist is just like, wait, what? And he's like, not right now.
Guys, like, we're gonna be dead in 5 minutes. What?
And then Jack starts really pushing him, saying he's like, oh, maybe we ought to have like some crazy orgy, blah, blah, blah. And then...
oh, yeah, because
Not
that's
being
when he's
unfaithful.
like, it's been like 66 years that he was with like his wife. And Jack's just like, whoa, whoa, nah, bro.
We gotta get you some ladies, man.
We'll have an orgy. Orgies aren't, purely sexual. They're like business.
I like how he's like trying to
just
like
get
defend
him.
the idea that like, nah, an orgy isn't cheating. An orgy's just pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Orgies are cool, man.
There's usually a buffet.
If there's 10 people, it doesn't count.
I thought you were gonna say if there's 10 Ds, then it's the best. I was like, yeah. If there's
10 Ds is the best amount of Ds.
No, it's gonna be a good orgy.
Skip ahead, and they're at the raceway. They both hop into these speedsters, and I don't know what these cars are. Does anybody want to tell me?
Oh, Joel, what the fuck? Okay.
Joseph, you're an apartment.
One's the quintessential Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 on his keychain, Joel.
The other one's a Charger, isn't
The
it?
other one's, a Charger, Dodge Charger. I don't know, like in the 60s era, I assume, because that's when they both came out. They're the
this,
old man cars.
Yeah.
This scene
really
just, like-
old man cars.
shows. I love how just like Morgan Freeman just like breaks in this scene. Like he just becomes like a fucking lunatic.
Hey, Macarena.
Yeah, he does become a fucking lunatic in this scene. Literally tries to kill them both, going like 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
How did... Wait. So wait, were they both the same car, or what was the other car?
A Mustang
The
and one
Mustang and a
Charger.
Oh, okay, sorry. I think I missed it.
What are you
He
watching?
just started to do the Macarena. No,
Yeah,
listen.
I was dancing.
This is why Joel doesn't know anything about cars. As soon as
Feels like
people start
cars.
talking, starts dancing.
Well, he does have Will dance for
Well,
followers.
you know what I did? I just... Yeah, I didn't write it. I just... Yeah. Definitely totally
Yeah.
sensitive to the content of this movie that I've been in this episode. I literally wrote in my notes, skip ahead and they're at the raceway. They both hop into these speedsters. I don't know if you guys know what cars they are, because I just didn't bother looking because I was taking notes. And I was like, even if I look right now, I'll forget by tomorrow. Immediately, Morgan Freeman's just going ham because you get that he
Yeah.
knows cars, and he's like, "Frick, this is just the thing I want to scratch off, so I'm gonna go for it."
And then he just starts literally ramming his car into Jack Nicholson. It's like out of nowhere. He's just like, you want to see like, what is it? You want to see?
You want to see evil damn Knievel?
Oh yeah, and it fucking hits the jump.
Yeah.
Like,
But then Jack Nicholson also hits that sick jump, and
Do you want to see Evil Knievel 6 months early, motherfucker?
they go through this tunnel, and then he pulls a sick drift, and he goes back and sees Jack Nicholson's just stalled out in the tunnel, and
Totaled these cars.
skip
Yeah,
it.
they literally drove these cars to like the point where they don't work.
Yeah.
That's where this movie's budget went.
and then they skip
literally.
into like a next, like an air, like a magical jet, don't they? Like the next scene's like them.
yeah.
You see, like, the
Yeah.
plane slowly taking off, and you hear Morgan Freeman's voice.
What do you have?
Yeah, and he's like, it's rude to ask about money. He's like, well, I never knew anybody with enough to ask. Morgan Freeman goes cleep on an airplane, and Jack Nicholson gets freaky with the girl in the washroom, which, like, you know, he's got a lot of money, and I don't know, it seems like could have been some shady stuff going on there, but maybe he was just like, hey, I'm dying, want to freak? And she's like, yeah. And
Just let me freak. I mean, we've been in airplanes before. Them bathrooms ain't very big. I have a feeling it would be quite difficult to get the Mile High clubbing going on in one of those.
especially with a dude who's, like, pretty old.
Holy, stuck it.
He's not very malleable. He won't be able to fold up in that bathroom.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman starts talking about the stars and how beautiful they are, and basically how God made them, and then they start getting into this whole talk about religion, and Jack's whole thing is that at the end of the day, nobody has proof of the Sugar Plum Fairy, so he doesn't really believe in it, but that's where faith comes in, which is what Morgan Freeman is saying, which, interestingly, I'm pretty sure Jack Nicholson is actually Christian, and Morgan Freeman is a... what do you call it? Not an atheist.
Agnostic?
Is an agnostic, yeah. Anyways, they, like in real life, I mean, but they find themselves in this very fancy restaurant, and Morgan Freeman's saying that this particular fish dish they're eating, it's like the fish needs to die in peace, and like there's somebody there
Caviar.
it makes sure that it has to die in peace, because if it doesn't, then it'll like release this chemical that spoils the eggs, which I thought was kind of
Boils the broth.
too many cooks will spoil the pot.
Too many cooks.
He jokes
Too many cooks.
around and after he says the thing about the chemicals ruining the eggs, and he's like, sounds like my third wife. And he's like, I could get used to living like this. And he's like, that also sounds like my third wife.
I wonder if he called her the threequel.
The squeakquel.
A squeakquel.
Morgan Freeman learns about Jack Nicholson's daughter and adds it to the bucket list. Like, it's like reconnect with something. I don't know. But he gets pissed, grabs back, scratches it off. Seems like Morgan Freeman is pissed, and he storms off to the washroom, and then Jack follows him, but it turns out that he actually just went to the washroom because he was feeling sick and had to like cough or puke up some blood, and it gets all over his shirt. So he's just like, you know what, screw this place, we're gonna bounce. And they head to hit like Jack Nicholson's just sweet ass crib. They get in, he's like, how much money do you have? Which, like, valid question.
Don't bleed on the rugs.
Yeah.
They really tie the room together, man.
Yeah. Good one. He sends, or Morgan's like, yeah, I'm going to go take a bath, get myself all clean. And he starts talking to the assistant, arranging all their stuff for the next day. And eventually he gets a call from Morgan's wife, and she's just like, he's like, oh yeah, I'll get him on the phone for you. And she's just like, no, I want to talk to you. So where are you? How's it going? And he like starts to answer, and she's like, how could you take him away from me? Just cuts him off. And
Where's Rachel? And just gives him real Batman vibes there. She's just interrogating the fuck out of him. Slams him against the wall. Where's Rachel?
Well, she's just like, oh, where are you? He's just like, what? And then, what did she say? She's just like, give him back to me, is what she cuts him off with. And she's prepared to lose her, or she's prepared for her husband to die, but she's not prepared to lose him while he's still alive, is what she says. Which, like,
had 60 years for that.
yeah. Jack goes to see him in the tub while he's watching French Jeopardy. Little tidbit is this episode of Jeopardy was recorded specifically for this scene. Yeah.
Wow.
Jack starts suggesting that maybe they should go back for a while, but Morgan insists he's fine. He immediately knows that, my wife called you, didn't she? He asks, like, why do you think I'm doing this? And he's just like, because I made you do it. And he's like, you're strong. You're not that strong. He's talking about all the pains and distractions in his life. And he's like, yeah. And then when I finally looked at my wife after all these years without all the distractions and everything in the way, like, he's like, I couldn't remember what it felt like to walk down the street with her and, like, not be able to, hand? Yeah, and not being able to walk down the street and not be holding her hand is what he says. And he's like, nothing changed, but the spark just went away somewhere along the way. And like, he kind of cuts off and diffuses the tension by answering one of the Jeopardy questions, Jack Nicholson. And then we kind of just cut, and we're just in the middle of the savannah with a bunch of lions, and it's like, the lions sleep tonight. We move. You see the antelopes and the zebras, and okay, here's where it hits me the first time a lot. Like, we saw like the skydiving scene, but right here is where I'm really just like, you can't make a movie about doing stuff before you die and then not do all the things and just green screen them in to all of the places. It's like that just kind of defeats the whole message of it. And it's like they green screen themselves to Egypt, they green screen themselves to the savannah when they're skydiving, when
they're in Hong Kong,
even when they're in like the bar at like the mountain place, like the background is CG'd. You can tell it's like, I don't know, just
Big old thumbs down moment of the movie goes to the green screening in these scenes.
yeah.
Especially like that when they're on the pier. Sorry to cut you off. When they're on the pyramids, especially like I was saying when we were watching it, you just like look at their hair and just see all the like green screen flares going off, and it's like, it just looks so bad. Like I suck at like I know green screening's hard for shit like that. I've tried it before, but it's like,
I know it's hard, but
like
is it
that much
$45 million?
Yeah,
hard?
right. You think you could have like hired someone to at least like when you're getting paid, like when a movie has that kind of budget, you think they could pay someone to literally like go like frame by frame, hair by goddamn hair, or something to crop it
just
properly.
actually go to the location.
or that. You have
Yeah.
$45 million. What else did it get spent on? Couple of cars. Maybe the green screen studio is a really fucking nice green screen or
It's
something.
probably just like $45 million worth of Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, honestly.
That's what I was
They
gonna say.
probably do command a high price.
If you think about it, they only have to bring 2 people to all these places. It's not like it's a big cast or anything.
That's true as well. It's like
Just fly them out.
one or two cameras.
Yeah.
So
You good, Marcel?
Yeah.
but just barely on the screen.
I just see a floating head.
You might want
No,
to.
my back's kind of killing me a bit, so I'm just kind of like leaning back. But the way my camera's set up, it's just like.
Isn't it your laptop? Can't you just like tip it forward?
Yeah, but then we'd have to see his.
Now we have
Yeah,
to
there
see
we
his
go.
fucking gooch.
This is much
Yeah,
better.
so, like,
Much better.
Yeah, I look very beautiful.
I'm sure there's a happy medium.
I kind of figured maybe like that.
You'll taint the grundle, the fleshy fun bridge.
How about that? Is that better? I just kind of look
Not
like
for you, it isn't.
I
It
know.
looks like you're in the stirrups going to the gynecologist.
Suddenly, they're sitting
Damn.
at just some big pile of rocks
Oh.
adjacent from the pyramids, just passing back this canteen back and forth. Very, very green screened here. Like, it's not honestly, like, except for the edges of that, it's not, like, distractingly bad. I don't know.
It's really bad. I'm gonna be real. That's like if it's one of the first things you notice. then
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
If it's bad enough that it takes you out of the scene to focus on it, then it's bad.
Then, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and he's Morgan Freeman's saying like the 2 questions that the Egyptians like in their religion ask you at like the end of your life, and the first one I think is like, did you find
joy in your life?
Yeah.
Did you bring joy to others in your life?
and he answers the second question by like this roundabout story where he was talking about like how he couldn't be the greatest dad to his daughter. She goes off to college, wants to save the animals, and she meets this guy. He's smart, but there's something wrong about him. They get engaged, and he doesn't like approve, but they do it anyways naturally, and he doesn't get invited to the wedding, which really feels bad. Then one of the times her husband hits her, and he wants to bust his brains in, and she wouldn't let him, obviously. So, like,
Called a guy who knows a guy.
no.
okay.
Next time, he didn't even get told when it happens, and her ex told
The ex
him.
told me. It was nice to hear from her again.
Yeah, so he took care of it. He told the guy, tells the guy to deal with it, and naturally she was pissed and didn't want to talk to him anymore because he probably just got
All I know is he's not dead, but she's never heard from him again.
Your camera is frozen if you want to turn it off and back on, Marcel.
He's got a funny face.
When doesn't he?
Yeah.
There we go. He lands on, he's like, well, I'm not really proud of everything I did, but given the chance, I'd probably do it all again. So if they don't let me into Egyptian heaven because of that, then fuck it. Then they're totally in India at the Taj Mahal.
Absolutely.
And Freeman is saying a bunch of stuff about all the artifacts around them. He's saying, it took 20,000 volunteers, 22 years to build this place to represent their true love to each other.
Real quick, it wasn't even like it was a stationary shot of the Taj Mahal. Morgan Freeman and fucking Jack Nicholson weren't even in this shot when they were just showing the Taj Mahal because they walk in the next scene, but it wasn't even the Taj Mahal. Like they couldn't even just like find some stock footage of the Taj Mahal and put that there. It was like just like you could tell it was just like it was just shit. It looked so bad.
Well, I don't know. I said the Taj Mahal, but maybe it's just not supposed to be the Taj Mahal.
It is supposed to be the Taj Mahal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's
100%?
the Taj Mahal.
Okay.
You can tell by the pools in the front and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I saw pixels. I know what that shit looks like.
Yeah.
We all saw it.
You know what? Pixels fucking got to the Taj Mahal with, I don't know.
They did it better. I mean, granted, it is later on, like in life, but I mean, you could have just sent one guy, coach class, fucking like video, like
Just go film the Taj Mahal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pixels did have 2 to 3 times the budget of this movie, though. I will say that.
Okay.
Did you adjust for inflation?
Can afford the real Taj Mahal.
Yeah, no shit.
Did
The
you
real shit?
did you adjust for inflation?
No, I didn't. I mean, to be fair, that is after the economic recession, so inflation should be adjusted for in that.
So yeah, he's saying
Let's see if they had Adam Sandler money. See if the bucket list had Adam Sandler in it.
yeah, it didn't have a
trying
big.
to tell me Morgan Freeman doesn't have Adam Sandler money?
Yeah, I was gonna say Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman isn't as big as Adam Sandler. Yeah,
At the time.
so 20,000
Those funny
volunteers,
voices, man.
22 years to build this place to represent their true love, and he's like, "Damn, true love, that must be like nice." But I don't believe the 20,000 volunteers though. Outside definitely Taj Mahal, they're talking about whether they would rather be cremated or buried, and he's like, "I'd like to be buried, but like, what if I'm still alive? Do they still make the coffins with
Low-key,
the bells?"
Real that's like an actual thing. Like I've always thought about this. If I go out, like I'm donating my body to science. I agreed on that finally. But I'm so afraid of like being like not dead, but like being treated like dead. So like even like Morgan or like Jack says with like cremation, he's like, I don't want to feel like the flames. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I don't want that either. Like I want a little coffin with a bell. Like that'd be sick, like in case you like, ooh, it was just it was just a coma. Like but ding ding, let me the fuck out.
It'll be full on. Have you guys ever seen The Nun?
Yeah.
Be full on like in that movie when you hear all the bells whistling in the graveyard, all the like breeze rolling through.
Well,
Just
yeah,
all of a sudden, Jack Nicholson claws his way out of the
gets killed by the graveyard like caretaker.
and like the gravedigger's just like beside like burying some fuck! Cracks him with the shovel.
Well, like that'd be terrifying. You imagine because back in the day that was a real thing. They'd have like a tube that went down into the coffin.
Yeah.
Because they're the I don't know, like the medicine. I'm gonna say the medicine, but like
Well,
like doctors and shit didn't know as much as they do now, and like
they couldn't like as clearly pronounce you dead, and there was just
Yeah.
like a lot of bodies from wars and stuff. So a lot of the times you would just get buried, and sometimes they would end up being alive.
So, but imagine you're just working at night, you're just doing your graveyard shit, and all of a sudden you hear ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Like, is there a procedure? Like, shit, okay, I gotta call home office again, bring in the bulldozer.
I was preparing for this day.
Grab, like,
Let them come.
I mean, not to keep this going too much longer, but like imagine you're like So you have this guy buried, and you're just like, okay, for some reason, maybe the cemetery's full. For some reason, or rather, you need to bury up or dig up this coffin. You dig it up and you open it, and it's like, oh shit, there's a bunch of claw marks on the inside. It's like, oh, oops. Anyway, so yeah, he's saying, what do you do with the ashes? Would you feel the flames? And he's like, maybe we should go frozen like Walt Disney. And Morgan's like, I just want to I want to be like cremated. I don't really like the word urn. So he's like, just give me like a little coffee can. And
the old Donnie treatment.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I don't need your fancy ass coffee. This like instant coffee is good enough for me. And he's like, what is your deal with the coffee that I like so much? And he's just like, it's just not, I like my coffee. They are suddenly motorcycling across the Great Wall of China. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh,
Which just kind of almost seems disrespectful.
True.
but also, kind of how the fuck did he? How rich is Jack Nicholson?
Yeah. It's like, did you rent the Great Wall of China? It's like, do they rent parts of it for parties or something?
Why would you want to do that? You take one wrong left turn, you're fucking dead.
One wrong left turn, you just go straight.
It's a wall, not the great corner of China.
Fucking, you hit a big rock and you go, you lose control and you fucking the wall. It's not like there's a lot of
the whole wall is big rocks,
right?
They go to climb the mountain that Morgan Freeman wants to climb, and the weather's too bad, so they can't helicopter up there. And they're just like, maybe next time. Maybe the mountain's trying to tell us something. Maybe we've been gone too long. And Morgan Freeman's kind of like, I think you think that the mountain is telling you to tell me that I've been gone too long, and that you're going to continue on without me or whatever. And he's like, nah, I'm still doing this. In the hotel lounge, Morgan and this one girl at the bar start hitting it off, and she's saying, yeah, I went up to the top of the mountain once. You can see all the stars. It's like little dots in the holes of heaven. And he's
Which Morgan Freeman does mention stars earlier in the plane scene. So, I kind of, missed that the first viewing, but I caught that the second time around. This bitch is literally just yeah, I know what you want to hear.
Yeah, because she was set up by Jack.
Yeah.
And he's like, did you hear it? The silence at the top of the mountain, apparently it's so quiet you can hear the voice of the mountain. It sounds like the voice of God, and the sexual tension is palpable. And then she's like, I don't normally do this, but I have a room upstairs. And he's like, and which literally she's half his age, but he's just like, nah, I got a woman at home. And
Morgan Freeman's a good man. He's just like, nah, I don't fuck with that shit. I'm married.
This whole scenario makes him realize that
I miss my life.
Yeah. He's like, how'd you know I wouldn't go through with it? And he's like, I didn't. And the assistant's just I don't know, helping Jack with something. He's like, I'm proud of you. And he's like, no one cares.
Walks into the room. He's just like, I want to go home. I want to go home now. The way he sounds, he kind of sounds like a little child. He's just like, I want to go home now. I don't want to be here anymore.
On their way back, Morgan Freeman pulls a sneaky deaky move and takes Jack to his daughter's house, and he's all pissed. He's like, this was supposed to be fun. I don't want to do this. You suck.
Expected me to learn something? What, am I supposed to go through a character development or something?
Yeah. Am I some sort of brainiac?
What, you think I got a character arc in this movie? What, you think this is fake? You
think I'm an actor? Yeah, so he just gets back in the limo and just ditches the assistant and Morgan on the side of the road, which is honestly my thumbs down moment. Kind of a dick move.
I didn't think about thumbs up and down moments. Shit.
It's the bucket list.
I forgot to give my thumbs up, but it was when Morgan Freeman kind of went ape shit in the car, and I kind of like skipped over it and I forgot about it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna mention it, but that was my thumbs up moment. I just like seeing him crash the car. And then, like,
Oh yeah.
My thumbs up is the a wimbo wait.
Yeah.
The song.
just the song.
Just the song. That's it.
My thumbs up moment is
Not
Morgan
on the
Freeman, but from a different movie.
I really like Morgan Freeman and Evan Almighty. I thought he was fantastic.
Morgan goes home. He's about to unlock the door and instead rings the doorbell, and she answers the door. And I really wanted him to be like, I don't know, almost like ask her on a date or something, you know, do something cheesy, like as if it was like when they first started dating. But
Just drops his bag. He's like, I got dirty laundry. Get it done.
I haven't done laundry in weeks.
He's like, the house is dirty.
This is.
Morgan Freeman's actually like a domestic abuser.
He's just
45 years of this bullshit, Karen. I swear to God. I can't be gone for 3 months without the house looking like shit.
terrible. Montage of Jack being very, very lonely.
I cut that one out.
Nah.
Nobody makes it this far to our videos anyway.
Montage of Jack being very, very lonely and Morgan Freeman being with his family. Haha, we're having dinner. We're so happy.
I love that scene with like Jack Nicholson, like just standing there, bawling his eyes out, and he's got like two. You can tell like he brought some women's overs, and they're just like, oh, he's usually fun. Is he crying? And Jack's just like, I don't know why. I just thought that was a vibe.
He's just like trying to make himself a hungry man, like can't open it, just like bashes the shit out of it.
Morgan Freeman's getting this beautiful like family dinner, and like you definitely like it's all homemade. And then like Jack Nicholson like orders out, and he like starts punching. Yeah, that's just
Meanwhile, Morgan pulling the old come up from behind while she's bent over, and
This dummy fish.
and he's keeping it classy, but because he turns her around, transitions into a dance. Double. Meanwhile, Jack is crying at his own reflection. Morgan's wife goes into the washroom to change into some sexy clothes, and she's just getting all excited, or he's getting all excited in the bedroom waiting for her. He's like, ooh, I don't know what to do with myself. Where do I put my hands? I don't know where to sit.
he like sits down in the chair, kind of trying to look like a boss, and then like like
he just tells he's like, I'm gonna kiss some ass.
this is actually my thumbs down.
This.
Deadass.
Honestly.
Morgan Freeman's faithful. He could have got some young poo poo, but he didn't. He didn't get no young poo poo. And what happens? Motherfucker comes home. He's like, I'm gonna plow the shit out of my wife because I love her, and fucking drops. Like, oh, I was so mad.
I know. I was like, let him have this. Let him have
Let him
this.
get a little, like, he's like it kind of calms down before the hospital gets there. It's just like, man, we got like 15 minutes, just real quick. It won't happen again, I promise.
I can't get up, but please just do this one thing for me.
I can't get up, but you might be able to get me up.
I don't know if you're aware that you've been throwing out my shoes.
My shoes. All my blood is in my dick. I'm probably dying pretty soon.
Just let me freak.
Let him freak.
So yeah, she comes out in the dress and finds him on the ground and
got a little dance going.
Yeah.
A little jig.
I wrote in my
Make a little love.
No making a little love without the love.
No.
He's getting
love.
down tonight.
I wrote in my notes, actually, this might be my thumbs down moment because dude just wanted to get it one more time. Jack,
As soon as the blood started rushing down.
It's just like,
you gotta imagine his excitement had something to do with probably the
it
fact
definitely, yeah.
that, he passed out.
You think so?
Jack,
Typical man, you know, all the blood rushed to his dick, and then he just couldn't think anymore.
Jack is in a meeting with these corporate people, and he's asking them if they've read the Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno, Elmo's Fire. Somebody suggests, maybe we should take a break, and he's like, I just want to know if you've read the book. His assistant comes in and tells him, you got a phone call.
Like,
Have you read the book? We're gonna ride motorcycles on the Great Wall of China. His assistant walks in and is like, yo, take this phone call. He's like, no, I don't need that. And he's like, yeah, you probably want to take this. He rushed to the hospital, and Freeman's not in such great shape. And
Bro's looking a little rough.
the wife
Feels
is
like shit. Thanks.
well, he's like passed out, and the wife like hands him a letter, and she's like, I wasn't supposed to give you this until after, but and then Morgan's just like, well, she never listened to me before, why start now? And wakes up. The whole you look like shit.
Time passes and shit, and then like it's real, just like quiet in the hospital.
Oh, also, earlier in this movie, Jack Nicholson did shave his head for this movie, but Morgan Freeman wore a bald cap here.
I was gonna say, yeah, you could tell because it was just like his head just goes up so much to like encapsulate his squished down hair for it.
I don't fucking hair to begin with, like.
I don't know why this part hit me, but just when he was just there and he's like, can I have some water? And she's like, no, but you can have some lemon swabs. I was like, oh, you can't have a glass of water.
Well, because he's going.
I know.
And shit.
I know.
But like literally, he's just like, nah. But you can lick a lemon swab. I guess.
Yeah. He pulls out a piece of paper, unfolds it, and hands it to Jack, and he starts reading it. This very long, verbose description of the coffee he loves to drink, and it eventually ends with the punchline of that this coffee is made from cats eating the beans and then shitting them out, and that's
He's
what
drinking poo water.
makes it.
Poo water.
Yeah. And then they laugh until they cry. Ha 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 ha. Check.
Off the bucket list.
Yep. And he hands them the rest of the list, and he's like, this wasn't supposed to be... Which, by the way, the list got ripped up. I didn't know if he taped it back together.
Yeah.
I should
Well, it
Interesting.
looks like shit. It looked pretty like.
I don't remember. I'm
It's
not gonna
been
go back
through
and
a
check.
lot.
Anyways, but he's like, yeah, you gotta finish the list. And he's like, well, it wasn't supposed to be a one-man deal. And he's like, well, it's gonna have to be. Morgan gets rolled into surgery, and Jack gets into his car, opens up the letter, and
Morgan Freeman fucking dies. Like, just like. Sheesh.
Not good.
I don't know, he says like a lot of stuff in this speech here, but one part I wrote down is he's like, you once told me that you aren't everyone. You're right. But everyone is everyone. And I was like, I don't know what that means.
But I like it.
Jack at this time ends up going to see his daughter, and his daughter has a daughter of her own, and he gets to meet her. I think Morgan dies in the surgery, and
The doctor.
it kind of seems like he knew he was going to.
I
Jack.
that a lot though. My mom was saying that with like a lot of old folks, like when they're like time's up, they just like know. It's really weird. She'll just be like, yeah, you'll see like residents who are usually like very slouched or very like quiet, and it'll be like the day before they pass away, and they're just like full of life, and it's just like they kind of just get like a ton of shit out of the way, and then they're just like good, like. So like I guess it's like it might be a thing where like if you just get that you got like 15 minutes, like Death kind of
Your
walks
last
in,
push.
opens the door, he's like, yo, you got like a day, like in the like we're going. This is it, bro. Like get ready. Like
Come on, I got
pack
things
your
to do.
bags. Yeah.
Jackie's speaking at his funeral, and he's like, I tried to.
Loki, sorry, one more thing before like that when the doctor's like telling his wife, that like broke me. I don't know what it is about like just like someone getting bad news in like a doctor's office and having them immediately start breaking, but it just like cracked me. Like
Yeah. So yeah, he tried to avoid speaking things like that, but he was like, yeah, I loved him and I miss him, and he tells about how they traveled all over the world. He scratches off help a stranger for good on his list. He says that he saved my life and he knew it before I did. We transition to see this guy climbing up the mountain in an orange suit, and this is how the movie opened up as well, so it bookends it.
Technically, he didn't help a stranger because Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson became friends, and then he decided to help them. So, like, technically, that was a false cross off there. That was some bullshit.
I mean,
Didn't really get that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the funeral.
Just like give some dude like $100 on the street. That'll help him out in some way or not. Like,
Kick me in the nuts. $20. $20. Kick me in the nuts.
Go to Vancouver. He'll be able to help some people.
Can you imagine if any of us actually paid that guy $20 to kick him in the nuts? I think about it every day. It's my life's biggest regret.
Bucket list. Go back and kick that guy in the nuts.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman is, or no, Jack is saying that he's like hoping that on the other side after death, that if there is something, that Morgan Freeman is waiting for him outside of the gates to vouch for him so that he can get in, and that once he gets in, he'll show him all the ropes of like how to live up there. Turns out it's the assistant who brought the rest of the can up, or made it to the top of the mountain and brought their urns. He scratches off witness something truly majestic at the top, and he folds it all up, puts them beside each other, puts it up, and buries them all. And
he'll be happy with his final resting place because he's buried on a mountain. And
That's illegal.
yeah. It's a pretty good last line.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my thumbs up of the movie.
At this point in the No
Legal
Thumbs Up
shit.
podcast, we go to our ceremony of thumbs. At this point, we need to decide whether we are telling people they should A, go and watch this movie, or B, they could give it a pass. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Which is a
if you're over
Sitting Joe.
if you're over the age of like 45,
Yeah.
Spaghetti fence sitting Joe.
Yeah.
If you're on death's door, here. If you're not, you might as well just, not.
I mean, if you have something to learn about maybe the value of life, I mean, you could probably get something from that. But I mean, there's movies that do it better and more interestingly. This is a pretty soft hitting movie. I don't know. Like, it's not like the highs are ever super high. It's just a very slice of life kind of thing. It's not bad. It has good acting. The green screening's kind of atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Kind of the same thing, yeah. For the most part, like it was a good movie. Like, it wasn't a bad movie by any means, but it's not something that I would say like, oh, you gotta go watch this.
I don't think it's like an our generation. Like, I'm not an our generation thing. I think it's more of like Joseph, like Gas kind of said. It's more for like people in their like 40s that like kind of like.
And even so, like,
Art.
yeah, like, it's not a bad movie. There's some good jokes, like, and
the message is good.
yeah, and the message is fine. The writing's fine. Like, the
I
execution's
think
like,
the CGI really did a big number for me. Like, that really took
Yeah.
yeah.
The green screens fuck things up
Sorry,
pretty bad, but
yeah, not CGI.
Yeah, I think, like, if they had gone to these locations and there was, like, just these amazing shots where you're
I
just
think it
like,
would've-
damn, like, look at life.
actually there.
But like when they don't go there, it really takes a lot of the impact out of the movie and a lot of the point that they're trying to get across away. Yeah. So if you are new to the No Thumbs Up podcast, we didn't even go over the wheel at the beginning of this episode. How do I keep
Holy
missing
shit!
that? We spin
gotta
this
restart
wheel.
the-
Nobody's
gotta
gonna
restart the
watch a
whole thing.
freaking bucket list review. What an idiot I am.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Um,
Fuck you guys if you did watch this. What are you doing with your lives? Find something better to do. Like watch our other videos.
Yeah.
That's something better to do with your time.
We spin this here wheel at the end of our podcast. Each one of us brings a movie to put on the wheel, and
You spin the wheel at the end of the
I
episode.
spin-
We don't do shit. Joel fucking rigs it. He picks his favorite movie on the wheel and makes sure.
Yep.
There's a big magnet in the back, yeah.
Yeah.
See?
This is some crazy wheel bullshit.
You can see it right fucking there.
I can
I'd
see-
never gamble on
Clear
this.
as day.
Anyways, so we each bring a movie every week, and then that decides what we review the next week. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you like what we're doing. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and leave us any comment suggestions. Share this with people you know. We're trying to get the word out. So I'm just going to go over the movies on the wheel
Whore
real
us
quick.
out on social media. Whore us out on social media.
Honestly,
Pour
Pour
us
us
out.
out.
Whore us out on social media.
the Belko experience
out.
experiment is mine.
In
My
general.
movie.
Wait, what is it?
The Belko experiment is about like they. From what I know about it, it's like they're in this business and they all get trapped inside, and then it's something about like how they have to
Basically,
survive.
they have a chip inside their head that'll explode if they don't follow what the intercom says. And
Mhm.
the intercom essentially says you have an hour to
Oh,
kill
okay.
X amount of people, or else like X amount of people will die.
Yeah. So that's my movie.
Cool movie.
The Cabin in the Woods. That's
Really good.
Dane's.
Really good
It's-
movie.
Yeah, without explaining, without getting more into it, it would kind of spoil it a bit. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it's a horror movie about a cabin in the woods and hijinks hijinks ensue in every movie, but you know the type of shit.
Hijinks is
And
a
it had
good
one of
movie
the
for
best
that.
songs I've ever seen in any film.
Dude, I need to get Marty's collapsible
It's
like
literally
coffee
a
cup
coffee
bong.
cup bong that like folds out and has a stem.
Yeah, it's literally just like a portable coffee mug that he just extends into a bong and takes the handle for a stem. It's like,
Oh,
bruh.
it's so good. It's so good.
Train to
It's-
Boost. Oh,
I was say just when he's like driving by in that scene, totally just off topic of things. But he's just like, science says a man driving around with a giant bong will never get caught.
They will never pull this man over. Why? For they fear this man.
Train to Busan, which is
That's
Noah's movie. He didn't feel equipped to be on this episode, but that's his movie. Does anybody know?
It's a zombie movie. It's a Korean zombie
Korean,
film.
yeah.
It's really good.
Okay.
It's really good.
The
Well, we already know
Adventures-
how that episode's gonna go. Okay.
The Adventures of Milo and Otis. That's Joe's movie.
Oh God! Please no! No!
It's just some really old, like British
It's
narrated
so
movies, but
sad.
like that, like go on an adventure.
We watched that at my place. Like when we were like so young, we put it on the TV in my room, and all I remember is they put a cat in a box.
No,
No,
you're ruining the movie.
No!
We haven't even landed on it yet.
Evil Dead 2. Marcel's movie.
Oh, that's fine. It's just Bruce
Classic.
Campbell being crazy.
Man, Marcel picking an Evil Dead movie. I couldn't have guessed that one coming.
No Country for Old Men. That's Josh's.
Yeah, it's just this dude finds some money from like a drug dealer or something and gets hunted by another guy. And it's got Tommy Lee Jones.
Sneaky Spin.
Wow, that stuck up on me. What do we get?
Is that Train,
Train to
Busan?
Busan.
Yes.
Okay, we're watching a zombie movie next week. Thanks for
We're
watching.
watching probably the best movie on the wheel for next week.
The Cabin in the
I beg to
Woods.
differ.
The Belko Experiment.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with. I don't know anything about.
From what I haven't seen Train to Busan, but I heard it was really good.
It's a really
so
great zombie movie. Like it's actually like just a solid zombie film. I want to see the sequel. Actually, they have two.
Well, everybody just give you a rating on it already because we're there.
Yeah. Well, join us next time when we review that. Does anybody have any last things here?
Make sure to go like, subscribe, comment down below. Check us out on
Every social
Instagram and
media.
TikTok
Facebook,
and
Instagram,
Facebook
Twitter,
and
TikTok.
Oh, we're on TikTok now too. We got funny videos. on
Letterbox.
Add no thumbs up.
Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Maybe a little outside the box of the regular podcast as well.
Oh, true, yeah. All right. Peace.
Bye-bye.
there.